Thinking about a home battery with all this rebate stuff going around, but just not sure how big it needs to be or how long it'll keep your home running in a blackout, and potentially whether or not it's going to be a good positive return on investment here in 2025. Now, let's walk through a couple of simple free battery calculators, and then we'll go through some advanced ones. Now, you don't want a battery too big, as it might not charge from the solar and pay itself off. And you don't want one too small because you could run out of juice before you finish dinner. The key is matching your battery to your solar output and your actual energy use. So, when the sun is up and when you use energy throughout the day and night. Our calculator is very simple. Simply visit our calculator on the website. All right, let's do a bit of a advanced battery calculator. The typical house uses around 20 kilowatt hours every single day. So that is about 5 kilowatt hours during the day and 15 kilowatt hours at nighttime. Now, that is a pretty simple calculation. That is 75% nighttime consumption and 25% daytime consumption. Now, to calculate exactly how big of a solar system you need, all you need to do is divide 20 by 4. So a 5 kilowatt solar system will generate, on average, every single day, enough solar to produce enough daytime consumption energy and nighttime consumption energy. Now, the solar will generate all during the daytime. A 5 kilowatt system will generate approximately 5 times 4, 20 kilowatt hours, 5 of that being during the daytime to offset your daytime usage, and put the rest into the battery, the 15 kilowatt hour battery at nighttime. So the solar, 20 kilowatt hours it generates, 5 is going to go to the daytime consumption, and 15 is going to charge the battery. So 5 will go to your daytime consumption, leaving 15 kilowatt hours left over to then go to charge your battery, giving you a total of 20 kilowatt hours for your whole day. Let's just say your daytime consumption was 10 kilowatt hours during the day, and your nighttime consumption was 30. So how do you figure out how much is day and how much is nighttime? Because normally your energy bills just say 40 kilowatt hours, your total consumption over the month, and you've divided that by how many days in the month, give you an average daily of 40. So you can either use a smart meter, where you can use the app with the retailer, will tell you your daily consumption on a hourly, half-hourly basis, and you can then record your day and your nighttime consumption. Or you can estimate it based on the monthly kilowatt hours that your bill has, dividing that by how many days in the month, and then dividing by how much percentage your daytime and your nighttime consumption is. So for this type of system, you could simply just say divided by 4, approximately a 10 kilowatt solar system should get the job done. Now, a 10 kilowatt solar system is going to generate in summer potentially 60 kilowatt hours a day, but in winter it's probably going to generate a minimum of about 40 kilowatt hours a day. So you at least want the minimum generation to be the total consumption. And your daily consumption will fluctuate as well. So if you can pinpoint the minimum consumption that you will have, then your system in the peak times will generate a lot more in the summer periods. So your battery will be a 30 kilowatt hour battery, and the solar will be a 10 kilowatt solar system. So that will generate approximately 40 kilowatt hours a day, 30 to the battery, and 10 during the daytime. So the battery will then offset your nighttime usage. Now, how much do we need for backup? Backup estimates. So to calculate how much backup you need, all you need to do is calculate how much each piece of equipment that you've got on the backup is and how long it will be on for. So let's just say, for example, you have a 100-watt light, and that's going to go for 5 hours. It will equal 500 watts. So that's 100 watts times 5 to give you 500 watt hours. So 500 watt hours divided by 1,000 is 0.5 kilowatt hours. So not even 1 kilowatt hour. So if you have, let's just say, a computer or a fridge that uses, it's a 2 kilowatt fridge, this will be on the fridge component. All you can do just simply is times that by how many hours you need that on backup for. Let's just say 5 hours. So that will be 10 kilowatt hours. So you've got 10 kilowatt hours. Now, if you've totaled those together, all you've got is 10.5 kilowatt hours to give you your total storage amount for your backup. Now, if you're installing a 10 kilowatt hour battery and you want 10 kilowatt hours of backup storage all the time, then that's 100% of the battery. So you probably want a little bit bigger battery so that you always have that backup capability at any time. Now, do you want extra storage capacity for trading on the wholesale market or on the VPP? VPPs allow people to have percentage of their battery always accessible for grid instability or grid demand or wholesale arbitrage. So a retailer will access that battery, a part of that battery that you allow them and give access to then be used at nighttime during peak demand events where you can sell that battery energy back at a high price. So if you have, say, for example, a 10 kilowatt hour battery on your home and you want to put 20% of that on the VPP, that's 2 kilowatt hours you need for standby, leaving 8 kilowatt hours accessible for you, right? So the more you have on the VPP, the higher that you'll be able to earn on a day-to-day basis, but the less that you'll have to use during your day-to-day basis. Now, there are things with specific retailers that will allow them to control your battery and dictate based on a forecast how much VPP capacity will be accessed every day based on a forecast. So they will say it's probably better to keep all your 10 kilowatt hours accessible to the grid so that they can use it instead of using it yourself, and they will push that to the grid instead. So during peak demand events, if you're not using it, if there's excess battery storage, they'll actually take that excess battery storage and they'll pay you for it. So there is potential for VPP revenues to be earned. All right, let's have a look at a customer's proposal quotation for a solar and battery system to give you a bit of an idea at the return on investment and what you're looking at, what you'll be quoted when you request 3 quotes. So here on the first page, you've got the size. This is a generic, so most proposals look sort of similar to this. This one, you've got a 10 kilowatt solar system with a 10 kilowatt hour battery, or 9.6. And their accreditation, so always make sure that they are Solar Accreditation Australia approved. Then you'll have the design. This one here is not on the roof, but it's they're building a house, so it'll sort of overlap anyway. So that will be the design on the back of your house. A bit of a spiel about the installer, the system details, and the estimated annual production. the solar panels, data sheets, warranty, inverter, battery storage, data sheets, manuals, and warranty. Now also here, now this is a solar system, a 10 kilowatt solar system. Now you can see here, this 10 kilowatt solar system is going to produce 56 kilowatt hours per day in your summer and 26 kilowatt hours per day in winter. That is approximately 10 times 4, or an average of 40 kilowatt hours per day across the year. And that is probably, that's why, if you're wondering why, where I got that divided by 4 number previously, that is where you get that number. So this system here will save approximately $3,200 on their bills, $3,136. So you can see this customer has a $3,200 bill, which is $800 a quarter, or about $266 a month. Now it should drop their bills quite substantially, and the reason for that is simply 3 things. You've got your solar production, you've got your battery storage, and you've got FCAS or other arbitrage methods that the retailer might pay you for as well. So with those 3 revenue streams, you can capture quite a bit of revenue savings. So let's give you a bit of an example of how a customer would save on solar, batteries, and with FCAS. So to give you a bit of an idea, a 40 kilowatt hour solar, a 10 kilowatt solar system will produce 40 kilowatt hours per day. Now that will go either to the battery, if you've got a 10 kilowatt hour battery, to save you approximately 50 cents per kilowatt, or $5 for that energy during the day. And during the day, you've got it's going to just be fed into the grid. So let's go 10 minus 40, which is the solar remaining after you've charged your battery. So that 30 kilowatt hours of solar production can either be fed into the grid, or it can be used and consumed at about 30 to 50 cents per kilowatt hour. Now, on average, that's about 5 cents fed into the grid. So we'll just do feed in for all of it. So it's $1.50 per day, plus your $5 per day will give you about $6.50 per day in total savings across the year. Now, then you'll also have some FCAS and some VPP savings. So let's just have a look. Okay, so let's go down to exactly how you're going to make that $3,200 worth of savings. So you've got 3 revenue streams: the solar production, the battery storage offset at nighttime, and some virtual power plant revenue as well. To give you a bit of an idea, the 10 kilowatt solar system is going to produce for about 4 hours on average a day, giving you 40 kilowatt hours of energy. That 40 kilowatt hours of energy will get fed into the grid or be consumed during the daytime. So on average, if you're looking at a 20 kilowatt hour home, let's look at this. This house is probably going to be a little bit more. It's about 30 kilowatt hours. So if you're splitting your time 50-50, you've got 15 kilowatt hours during the daytime. So if we take 15 kilowatt hours off the 40 kilowatt hours that we're producing, we'll leave you with 25 kilowatt hours, 10 to the battery, leaving 5 to be fed into the grid. So there's 15 at your 50 cents, because this bill, generally on average, the actual charges at the moment aren't 30 cents. You've got to add your peak demand charges in there as well. So it averages around 50 cents per kilowatt hour. So you've got 15 kilowatt hours by 50 cents, right? It's about $7.50. Now you've also got your 10 kilowatt hours at nighttime times 50 cents. You've got another $5, and then you've got the feed in for the remainder. So the feed in for the remainder is around 15 left. So 15, 20, sorry, there's 25 kilowatt hours at 5 cents, giving you $1.25. So let's add those 3 figures together, which is $7.50, $5, and $1.25, giving you a total daily saving of about $13 a day. and you times that by 365 days a year, you've got around $5,000 in savings. So that's pretty high. So I've probably overdone that. They're probably only going to be it's only going to be around 35 cents per kilowatt hour on this bill. So if you did that at 35 cents instead of 50 cents, you'll probably go down to about your $3,200 per year annual savings. So that's exactly how your solar, your battery storage, and your FCAS, which we didn't even, VPP, which we didn't even put into the savings, but that can actually add on top of what you actually on your earnings. So right now with this system, the payback period's about 5 years on $15,000, and it's an 11% internal rate of return. So that means your $15,000 investment is going to be making $3,200 a year. So, a nice $3,200, 15,000 is a nice 20% annualized return, or a 11% IRR. Now, to find out what rebates are included in this system, this system actually costs $22,160 plus $2,000 GST. It's a $24,000 system, and the government rebates are $3,300 and $3,800 for the battery rebate. So that's a huge saving on that. Now, let's have a look at if you use this system, if you, instead of actually paying for the system up front at $15,000, let's see what that would look like on a 7-year payment plan. So you can see here the total cost over 17 years goes up to $19,000 because you're paying interest. But here you can see the repayments on a 72-month plan will equal what you're saving per year. So this means that if you're spending $3,200 a year, if you paid it off over 6 years, you wouldn't spend any more than what you would be spending right now, and you have a solar and a battery system on the roof. Now, I can say that this system's going to be worth a bit of money at the end of 6 years, and this is just saying that it's not going to be worth anything. So your return on investment is going to be much higher, and you'll have that equity in the house paid off. So you're not going to lose that $20,000 that you're spending every over those 6 years. It's actually going to be an investment in your home, so you'll get that paid if you sell your home at the end of the day. So much better than just wasting $3,200 a year and putting a $20,000 asset on your roof where you get that equity back after the 6 years if you decide to sell. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense in terms of return on investment and what a proposal quotation may look like.